is this classic Marvel character the true villain of WandaVision? Since time immemorial, or at least since a Variety report in September 2018, mankind has looked to the stars and asked who is the real villain of WandaVision. For years, people had no idea who or what WandaVision was, but now we've evolved from those primitive apes, and we can use weeks and weeks of episodes and decades of comic book stories to make wild, unsubstantiated claims about seemingly random objects that might have some significance for what's happening to Wanda Maximoff, the Vision, and the town of Westview, New Jersey.
It's a working theory.
But now we have another theory, one which could explain everything that's going on and does not, for a change, involve everyone's favorite devil red herring, Mephisto. However, if we're right about this, it could be considered a spoiler, so if you're worried about that kind of thing, or you're not caught up on WandaVision, well, make like Wanda Maximoff herself and just rewind to a happier time in your life.
No.
Alright, so by this point, we've covered a regular murderer's row of potential suspects that could explain what villain is behind this sitcom-y reality bubble engulfing an entire town and causing people around it to experience selective amnesia. Now, the most popular theory, which we got behind very early on, is that this is the demon Mephisto. Given his connection to Wanda and Vision in the comics, and in a far more sinister way their children as well, it makes a lot of sense. Now, other potential big bads include Dormammu, who's probably pretty peeved after Doctor Strange trapped him in a time loop, and Nightmare, a villain from the comics who harnesses the psychic energy of dreaming people to wreak havoc. Now, Wanda herself is also a major suspect. She could be behind all of this, especially given what we've seen in Episode 4, and Elizabeth Olsen's own proclamations in an interview with Screen Rant about how she'd love to do an adaptation of House of M, from which this series heavily draws.
If she could have 2 fake babies and everyone tell her that they don't really exist, and then her just go nuts, that would be unbelievable, but I don't think they're gonna do that.
But today we have another theory, one involving a very different but still major Marvel villain with deep connections to Wanda Maximoff and her brother Pietro, Chthon. Now, if you're doing your best impression of Leonardo DiCaprio pointing at the TV in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, congratulations, you might be right. Now, for those who don't know, Chthon is one of the elder gods of the Marvel Universe, created billions of years ago during the early formation of planet Earth. Now, Chthon is incredibly powerful and considered to be the master of chaos magic, which is the same kind of magic that Wanda uses with her hex powers. Now, in ancient times, Chthon fled to another dimension, but left behind a grimoire known as the Darkhold. It's a wretched tome teeming with eldritch secrets, Stygian sorcery, and most importantly, a way to bind himself to Earth. However, much of the time, Chthon could not leave his own dimension without a host body to occupy. And as we learn in Avengers 187, when Wanda was but a wee newborn baby on Wundagore Mountain, Chthon marked her as a potentially powerful vessel for him to occupy in the future. And when did Chthon most want to take over Wanda's body? Well, after she finally decided to study witchcraft under Agatha Harkness, allowing Wanda to tap into her innate ability to wield and manipulate chaos magic, presumably caused by Chthon's mark. Now, perhaps in WandaVision, with Wanda in a deeply vulnerable state after the events of Avengers Endgame, the Elder God has maneuvered her and Agnes, who's all but confirmed to be the witch Agatha Harkness, into the same place so that Wanda can truly embrace the chaos magic flowing through her and make the perfect vessel for Chthon to ultimately occupy. Now, not only does this storyline have a comic book precedent, but it could be the perfect segue for what's to come in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, more recently, during the Secret Empire storyline, Chthon possessed Wanda Maximoff once again, while Hydra launched a coup and conquered America. Now, she became a member of Hydra's Avengers for a brief period of time until she was finally freed from Chthon's possession by Doctor Strange. Now, given that we know that WandaVision will tie directly into the events of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, this could be a fantastic way to not only introduce Wanda's arch-nemesis, but a supernatural threat that only someone as powerful as Doctor Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme, could help to ultimately defeat. Now, besides that, Wanda isn't the only member of the Maximoff family that Chthon has possessed in the past. During the Dark Reign storyline in Mighty Avengers number 21, the sorcerer Mordred summoned Chthon into the body of Quicksilver, but thankfully the demon was exorcised and the evils were defeated by Earth's mightiest heroes. Now, maybe this could be a dark twist on that rumored Evan Peters cameo, but the chance to see a demonic Quicksilver in person, that would be pretty awesome indeed.
Was he the bad guy?
Now, while researching this theory, I came across a comment from Reddit user Religus who noted that Chthon is also responsible for creating witches, werewolves, and vampires. Now, that gives us a direct narrative link to Blade, the upcoming Mahershala Ali starring Blade movie. Plus, the idea of Wanda being Chthon's avatar also neatly establishes a narrative precedent for Moon Knight, in which the Egyptian god Khonshu will imbue Mark Spector with all manner of mystical powers. Then, perhaps at long last, we can get the crossover we truly deserve, where Moon Knight and Blade shake down Dracula for all that money he apparently owes Mark Spector. Now, unfortunately for the time being, we still have far more questions than we do answers, but that said, we will get way more clues when WandaVision Episode 5 drops on Disney Plus on Friday morning, and you better believe we'll have a full breakdown of all the Easter eggs, references, and updates to fan theories for you on tomorrow's episode. Now, in the meantime, folks, tell me, what do you think of this news? What do you think of this theory? Do you think that Chthon could be the big bad? Who do you think is the real villain of WandaVision?
Wow.
Let us know in the comments below, and for the latest and greatest in the world of pop culture, stay tuned to Nerdist.com.